No video input, there it goes.
You're on.
Okay, it's 6:02 on September 6th, Planning Board meeting. First thing there on the agenda is Lee Castanetti for a status update on Bassett Knoll Estates and also a re-endorsement of Orchard Ave subdivision. If you'd like, we could take the re-endorsement first, get that out of the way.
I think all we really need, we don't need any signatures, I just need a fresh date added to it on each page. I think if you just do 2/15/18 and then put another date, I think the best way to handle it would be a date that was consistent with the date that you were still chairman, so that the way this was endorsed.
Has this been recorded?
No.
I don't think it matters, it's just the amount of signature.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought where it was still, where it was already established that was the chairman, it just, all it needs to be that we missed it by about a week.
I mean, how are they?
You know, Ron's kind of a moving target, and we closed last week. We went to the registry to record it. The statute is 6 months from the date of endorsement.
But our regs specifically say the plan has to be re-endorsed
Okay.
after 6 months. I mean, it's clear. It doesn't say you can redate
Okay.
it. So I'm
Yeah.
just not sure if we redate it, what's that
It's the
gonna
same
do?
effect.
What's that?
We typically
We
typically do it on a sign-off.
I think if you establish a
Legal
new date, it's the
side.
same thing as re-endorsing.
It's easier, for all of us, but as long as they'll take it.
Yeah, as long as they'll take it. I haven't run into one of these where I've gone over the time.
We did this in Bridgewater, your plan, Chris. Same thing, it was an old plan, it was actually endorsed, it had been like 10 years. And they just put a
Okay,
fresh
Brian,
date on it.
this is the public, you're in tonight.
Yeah.
We can't date that a month ago or 2 months ago. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be comfortable with
Oh,
putting,
no, it's gotta be.
I mean, it's gonna be tonight, so
Yeah.
if it can't be tonight,
Yeah, tonight?
put the tonight's date on it.
We could add tonight's date if the registry kicks it back.
That's his
I mean,
problem.
I've
They
done,
won't.
I've run into this several times
Yeah.
where I've had plans where either, sometimes I didn't get
It's gonna
paid,
stale.
sometimes the
Right,
people, they get
right.
stale, but we always put a new sign-off block because what if Dan was no longer on the board?
Yeah.
And you're not gonna backdate for a, chairman that's not there anymore.
Yeah, well, make a motion that we redate plan
I'll second it.
for made out from SciTech Engineering, Orchard Ave Extension, definitive subdivision plan of land.
Second.
Okay, so we just need
All in
one person
favor?
to do that.
Aye.
And we'll see where it goes.
4 pages.
And then if they take it, great. If not, then you'll just look at another block.
Blocking.
I'd prefer a new clock.
Me too. What I'd like to do is, when are you gonna record this week?
Probably Monday.
Can you,
Make a copy and.
give a proof of recording to Maureen?
Sure, oh, yeah, I always do, anyway, so.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that with a copy of it. Read it with the new dates as well.
How long does it take to get a copy of the plan after you record it?
It's almost
They don't-
instant.
See, they don't, on to get them, so you can
Well, they send-
produce a
they
copy
send them out.
off of there?
Yeah.
They send them out almost instantly
think-
to the assessors.
Yeah, but you can't get it at the registry off their records, a recorded plan. You
Mhm.
can't print it off of that, it's a while. I'm not exactly sure how long, but it's a little while.
A couple weeks or a month or
At
something.
least- it's something like
It's a
that,
while,
yeah.
yeah.
Really depends on the registry.
Well,
Yeah, I think-
we're talking Taunton.
Tom, I think is close to a month, I think, before you actually.
Because I know Barnstable, I recorded a plan, and it was to the assessors virtually like the next day.
Wow.
Yeah.
They must have the ability to do it in-house. and
Yeah, they're
Tom-
connected on the
Tom
computer.
sends it out to somebody.
Yeah, they're connected on the computer, and you put a deed in, same thing.
Well, deeds, I know.
Deeds come straight to the assessors.
Yeah,
Okay,
So-
next thing with Lee
Thank you.
Castanetti then is a status update on Bassett Knoll Estates. I know there was a punch list that had to be addressed. I really don't know where it's at because I have no correspondence from either Ed Buckley or Judith Nitch.
Nitch has provided
Did you get an email sent out?
I've got nothing. I've got absolutely nothing. Now, this is a status update, Lee.
Yes.
Are you looking for anything?
Yes.
Well, we're not gonna, I'd imagine we wouldn't act on anything unless we get confirmation that whatever's shown and done.
Well, Nitch did send out, Bob must have a
Nitch
letter.
did. We met with Nitch last week on site. He has a report. Bob was out there today.
I took a ride by before we came in, too.
I drove by and when they were doing all the looming and whatnot.
No, it's, well, some on Basin A. The first set of pictures is Basin A. That was seeded last week. And as you can see, there's a,
Did it all wash away about a half hour ago?
some of it probably did. It's probably gonna have to be dressed up a bit after that heavy rain. I can almost be almost assured of that. They dry seeded theirs, but they have, you can actually see in the photos of Basin A that the grass is growing. We finished the pond, we took over Pond B because they were moving too slow, and as you're all aware, we can't get building permits right now until those ponds were loamed and seeded. So we took over Pond B so that we could expedite that process, and J.B. Lanigan and Company finished that pond last week, and we hydro-seeded it over the weekend on Monday. So we use the hydro-seeding, they used the dry seed, but again, they're getting results. There is grass growing. And when they finished up on Pond A, I directed them to go over to the cul-de-sac at the pump house. And as you can see from the photos, that's the dense grade was applied over the last couple of days. And he's waiting for Tibbetts to come out and do the compaction testing, have Ed Buckley come out and inspect it, and have somebody from Nitch come out and inspect it. And then he's ready to pave, and he's looking to pave, he is hoping to pave Monday of next week.
Could I see a copy of the niche letter, Bob? Yeah, an extra.
August 31st.
I think we got it.
Yeah, I know I got this.
Can I, while you're reading it, can I
Give a summary?
chime
Yeah,
in?
yeah.
You just said that your guy did the
Not
cul-de-sac?
us, no.
Oh,
Global went back, when they finished Pond A,
okay.
Basin A.
Yeah, no,
They-
but it sounded like you had your
No,
guys go
we,
over to this.
we did, we were working on Pond B.
So Global's still doing the
Yesterday.
road?
No. They're not, they're doing the cul-de-sac,
Okay, they're
but
doing
we're
the
working with
cul-de-sac.
them right now to take over the remaining work for Phase 3.
Okay.
I don't know, I don't know much of any details about it, but I haven't seen or talked to Nick in several weeks. And I do know that he's quite ill.
Bob, now, we held up the lots for no lots we released. How many lots would they be entitled to if we were to release lots?
Phase 2, we already issued, I think, 8 or 10 of them. So they probably have 10 or 12 more to go, phase 2.
I mean, right now, there's a bunch of stuff that's been worked on, but nothing's been completed, really.
So I went out to the site today, I took some pictures, these are much better, mine are on my phone. You did a better job showing pictures. Basin 1 has started to germinate, so you do see some green. Like you said, it's dry seeded a week or so ago. There is a sprinkler system activated over there. You can obviously get pummeled by water here in the last couple of hours. So the shaping's done, the looming is done, the seeding has been done. It just hasn't been stabilized yet. I had a conversation with Mr. Buckley late this afternoon, and he's very happy with what's happened so far, although he's still not 100% happy with releasing any more lots until we have some more growth of the grass to finalize the stabilization of both Pond A and Pond B, which, if it stays cool and wet, may happen within the next several days, maybe a week or so. But I asked him where he was with us tonight, and he says he's not ready to, comfortable to release any lots until he sees more grass grow.
I agree with him. I'd rather see this, you know, they put a lot of effort, and that's great, but it's not completed. So
Well,
I think,
right now, it's a waiting game until the grass grows.
well, you still got to pave the cul-de-sac too as well.
Well, it's two different, it's two different issues. This year is, the seeding of the detention areas was the big thing that was in the last year. That's an old issue that hasn't been taken care of, and that's what really has everybody concerned, because we're
Right.
going on to our third winter here, and we still don't have grass growing.
I think the cul-de-sac, it's shaped, the sides are loomed, it's graded, you're just ready for a base coat.
Yeah, when I was just out there, I saw some of the grass starting to grow, I saw all the sprinklers going. They did a nice job with all of the landscaping part of it, I mean, it looks great, and I would agree that, you know, if they have 10 or 12 more lots, I would, you know, I wouldn't feel comfortable releasing 12 lots, but I would be comfortable if we could release maybe 5 lots. You've got September, October, November, we're coming into, you know, bad months to be putting foundations in the ground. No matter what, the foundations are going to go in the ground. I'd rather see 5 lots get released. They are going to get released. We can't tie them up forever. So if we release 5 lots, I think there's sold signs on at least 9 that I saw. So,
We've got,
I mean, we've been waiting forever for this. This could have been done, you know, this could have been done months and months ago. It's been talked.
Well, it could have,
you know,
should
It could have
have.
been done last
I'm not-
spring.
I'm not,
And so all,
I'm not making any issue of that.
The show me
It's-
state.
it's absolutely true.
I'd rather wait till the 20th of September. I agree with Ed Buckley that we should wait till things are stabilized and this pavement's done. I mean, that's my opinion. I mean, it's up to the board on what they want to do.
Well, I think so too, but what would you like? How many lots are you looking for, and what's your timeframe
I'll
that
take
you're
anything you
looking for?
give us. We already had 2 buyers that we've had to reschedule their closings because we had given them dates based on when we thought we were going to be able to get their permits, and we've had to reschedule and rearrange, and
we have,
So
I mean,
We'll
none
come
of that's,
back.
that's really our issue. I mean, you've
I'm
had
not-
a year to get this done, and it's like
I'm
the
answering
last
Bert's
minute.
question, Chris. I'm not suggesting it's your issue. I realize that. We went out and, you know, took over the pond in good faith, trying to be responsive to what you had asked us to do, and I'm simply asking for some consideration.
we have,
and consistency.
there is some, how many lots in the next phase?
25.
25 lots. The last time I spoke with Ed Buckley, we had talked about this first and second phase, I guess, that you're into now.
Right.
You're going to have the detention areas, sidewalks, landscaping between some of the houses is going to have to be redone for some of the swales got washed out.
Right.
Phase 1 and 2 that you currently have, in my opinion, and Ed agreed, that it's going to have to be completed before we start releasing even over the next section. And Ed said if this goes, if the pavement that's down, the binder that's down, goes another winter, then, what's going to happen? Well, we know it's going to go another winter. It's not going to get done until maybe early summer of next year. But they have sidewalks. Now, the whole problem is you're in the middle. And you're the builder, developer. We have have had serious concerns with global construction, and we have kept him on a very tight leash, knowing how many lots that we have to release. Well, we're getting near the end of that. And, we have been out there several times. I've been out there at least 40 times just since this project has been started. So it looks great, and I'm sure the grass is going to grow, but, it would be my advice or my opinion that we at least release just 5 lots so they can continue. You're not doing the people that live there any justice. You're not doing the town any justice by holding them back. We still have, how many lots are left in that whole back section?
I think that in phase 2,
Yeah.
there's 25, and then I think there's another 8.
No, not in the section that you're not even into yet.
Right, that's
This-
25, and
no,
then in
this
this
section that
is,
you're
I
in right
think,
now, that we're not releasing any more lots.
There's 8 or 10.
So you have 10. So I think it's going to be in the best interest of making sure for everybody that lives there that they are pretty much built out before the end of the year. I mean, it's going to be a mess over the winter, having all the trucks going in and out and in and out. Now, we also have a bond on this that has been posted. We have plenty of funds and plenty of leverage at this point of time. Again, if 5 lots goes, he knows how we are done playing with any releases. And if he's taking it over, then, we've heard that before too, and that's why when she gave you the power of attorney to sign and speak in her favor, because Nick was, not doing it for us, that still worked for your benefit, but not really for ours, because everything that we need to get done through global just hasn't been getting done.
You and us.
According to Bob, Ed Buckley's not in favor of releasing any lots till this is done. And
I called
his business
Ed.
relationship with Global, that's his business, not ours.
Yeah.
We're there to make sure that this stuff gets done. The
It is
economy,
done, though.
what-
It's-
What you
I can't-
have, what you have, things
Yeah.
sold, that's really none of our concern either. Our concern is that you have done what you were supposed to have done, and you've put forth an effort, but it's not done. And
It's
you've
done.
had- Well, no, it isn't. I mean, I don't see
Yes,
any
it is.
pavement, I don't see any grass, but, so,
I
to me,
can't
you've
do any- I
had
can't
so
do any
much
more
time
than-
to do it, and to blame it on, you had another guy that wasn't doing the work for you, I mean, that's like blaming it on your subs. I mean, it's, I don't
I'm not blaming it
I
on
don't see
anybody, Chris.
No,
I'm not
but,
blaming it on anybody. I never, you play back the tape. I
you
never
could,
blamed
you could
anything
come
on
back in
anybody.
2
I'm not-
weeks, and 2 weeks, all this stuff could be done. And then we'd release all the lots. It's 2 weeks. It's not gonna kill
I
you.
would not release all the lots in 2 weeks.
Well, the 12, if it's all, if
In 2
everything's
weeks
done
from-
that's said.
In 2 weeks from now, I would not release all the lots. I would not vote to release all the lots in
Mhm.
2 weeks. Won't happen.
But I don't think 2 weeks is gonna kill them. It's not gonna stop the economy and stop the thing from getting done by the end of the year.
If we, and again, I said my piece, if we release 5 lots tonight, I would say that needs a month. That needs 4 weeks to germinate, to actually show some substance that it's going to hold back, and then we have a whole list of other issues. Mitch did his report and confirms everything was done according to the plans.
Well, he's confirming that it's not complete. You know, he's, I mean, I'd compromise and release 3 lots, and he could come back in 2 weeks and see what this is, but I don't really think it's time to, you know, and yeah, he's finally put forth the effort, because we had to say, okay, you're not building on any more lots unless you do something. That's what it took, instead of just doing what he was supposed to do, that we've asked repeatedly. And finally, we had to say, look, we've had enough, you know, so we're gonna have to hold all these lots. All of a sudden, it's like, yeah, now I'll start doing work, but that's what it took to get him to move. After repeated, you know, repeatedly asking. So, I don't know, that's just my opinion. I'd rather see the thing finished instead of half-finished, because the basins were half-finished before, and they were never done. And yeah, they're seeded, but, you know.
They're not half-finished, they're 100% finished.
Well,
I can't make grass grow any faster than it's going to
not
grow.
according to Ed Buckley and not according to Nitch. So, that's what I stand. I mean, if someone wants to make a motion to do something, we can move on.
Well, I feel for the builder who had to deal with the property owner, road constructor, who wasn't getting the job done. And you're telling me that you've taken over,
I'm meeting
and that
with,
you have competent people now who are
you
getting
could-
it done.
You could check with Ed Buckley or J.B. Lanigan. They've done work in the town before, and I guarantee you, they did our entire
I can actually,
infrastructure package.
I can vouch for that.
They did our entire
Quality
infrastructure package in Bridgewater for 97 lots, and I can also assure you that if you contacted Ron Ledoux there, that he would sing their praises.
You guys know construction better.
Well, even
than
with
I
that
do.
said, that doesn't make me happy. I'm not satisfied with that. If he's taking over, we need to have his name on the plans and taking over full responsibility. And it's going to be coming out of his wallet to make sure that everything is 100% done when the time comes. We've been working on Bassett Knoll for 8 years.
Yes.
This isn't anything that you're going to just fix everything all at once. And there's nothing, this is an ongoing subdivision. We have met there over, like I said, over 40 times. There has been little issues that get taken care of. And when it gets done on a daily basis or a weekly basis, they get taken care of. This was addressed as firmly as we did at the last meeting, because it's already September. And we have 10 lots here, 25 lots in the next phase. And the last I spoke with Ed Buckley, we have a list of things that need to be addressed. So, it's, again, I'll make a motion that we release 5 lots until further notice. I don't want to say until grass grows, because with the rain that we had, who knows? They might be fixing washouts, they might be fixing things.
I will second your motion.
There's an awful lot of work that still needs to be done, and not to keep this thing moving.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
No.
Was that 3 yeses and a no?
No, it's two noes, 2 yeses.
2 noes, 2 yeses.
I think, if I may, the situation we seem to be in, which I hope we never get in again.
You'll always be in this situation.
But
I mean,
we're
it's-
dealing
it's
with 2 entities,
construction.
and we shouldn't have to deal with 2 entities. We should have to deal with the person who presents the plans to us. I mean, the guy who's taking care of the lots, I sympathize with your problem, but, you know, we can't get in the middle of that. It's just not our place to be in the middle of that.
No, I mean, we've been dealing with a company who's, someone's wife who we've never even met is the one, like, supposedly in charge. And and I mean, you made the marriage, so it's not, you know, it was a, you know, business decision on your part. And, you know, I don't think it's worked out well for you, but that's not an issue that is germane to what we're here for.
All right, well, the motion was made, and it's even, so.
Okay.
Liz,
Okay, next on the agenda.
Chris, did you see the note I left you about the project?
Oh, yeah, Lee, also, one more thing. The board asked Nick Harris last time for $10,000 for the Bassett Knoll account, and he had sent 3.
Okay.
So we would like the other 7 before we move on, which probably should have been brought up before we started discussing even releasing lots. But, so that has to be delivered. We had made the motion to, ask the 10. We haven't received it yet. So I think until that's received on top of this, that we probably can't move forward.
And what's just so I understand, I'm not sure I...
This is for the inspection, review, that kind of...
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what you said. He sent, in response to a request for 10, he sent 3?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're looking for 7 more
Yeah.
from them?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda was Steve Joyce regarding Christina's Path.
Steve's not going to be here, Mr.
I don't
Chairman.
see him.
I had a discussion with him today. We had an on-site meeting about a week ago. Mr. Joyce, myself, and Mr. Buckley, excuse me, we walked through the subdivision and we identified some issues. There was typically another meeting on site today that I did not have a chance to attend, but Mr. Buckley was there. They are on the same page as to what needs to get done and moving forward. Mr. Joyce has hired a contractor. We should have a schedule for the remainder of the work to be done. Hopefully we'll have a schedule next week and anything not being done before the end of October. And I'll keep you posted as to what's going on as I get the information.
Does Ed have a time frame when he's going to be paving the final coat on White Street?
They're trying to coordinate that because there's a crossing on White Street. So they want to coordinate that with the contractor who's doing the work on White Street, so one guy doesn't leave the opening in the wrong spot and it gets done at the same time correctly.
Well, I guess it's just about 6:30.
Excuse me, Chris. I don't know if you want to take something on the agenda, but we have a discussion, real quick one on.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I thought you looked familiar. This was a discussion that was planned off Sandy Hill Road, Mr. Sullivan. My brother, Mr. Sullivan, is actually one of his clients, and so I wasn't involved in this. Dan was the chair and involved in this project. So I'm going to step out and steal candy from Marcia's candy jar, and I'll be back when you're done.
Basically, all we have to do, you're just here to have this endorsed? Because we already got stamped from the time. Maureen, that's already been back, right?
Yes.
So there's just 2 Mylars. That's a paper. Do you need any paper copies, or you just need the Mylar? All right, so I got 3 paper copies signed for us.
And I'll see maybe you'll have them update the board as to what activities are going to go on out there.
Why don't you step up to the podium and state your name for the record?
Joe Sullivan, Sandy Hill Road. Basically, at this point, now that I have the drawings and once it's recorded, I'm gonna start clearing the trees to make the 22-foot road of gravel that we talked about with the area and the hammerhead turnaround that's gonna be necessary for the emergency vehicles to get in and out of it. And at that point, once that's done, I'll have Ed and Bob make sure that the
Now,
scope.
what to do is look at your certificate of action, because it's going to have a list of items that you're going to have to call and schedule with Bob and call and schedule with Mr. Buckley before you do things.
Right.
So don't do it all and then call them.
No, understood.
All right.
Bottom line is, once I couldn't move forward without the signature and
Yep.
endorsement first, so.
Did you, you want to just put a date next to?
There was a list of requirements as part of the order of conditions as well, so. Is there something, Maureen will have to give me in writing for the recording for the...
You're gonna go record these, and then you're gonna have to bring back a copy of the recording information so she can put it in the file,
All right, great.
and then you're all set. They'll give you a stamp, paper.
Even there, I'll sign them there.
I thought
Bert?
that looked funny. Over there.
What is it?
That's where it's supposed to sign. Should have put your glasses on.
Roadway specifications.
That's the revision part.
Oh, there's a shit. Or maybe I'll sign it a little neater the second time.
Practice is good.
I'm not sure. So. What is this? You could just sign two on the top, and if you want to sign the three for paper, it's only going to be in our office.
Because that, nobody else has signed the other one. Not up here, top here.
We're just, those are ours. You can sign wherever you want. Here you go, you're all set.
Thank you.
So just make sure that Maureen gets the stamped. Yeah, those are going, Maureen. Is Chris still eating candy out there?
I'll take a peek. I'll take a peek. You got it? Yeah. Okay, John. That is all right.
Okay. 6:30. 6:36, but we
You
got
want
a
to put that copy on the file?
public hearing for 1,000 new state highway site plan. I'd like to open it, but I'd like to say we're missing one member, which is Russ Driscoll. On a site plan, it's a special permit, so you need a supermajority, so you need 4 out of 5 votes. So if he misses the hearing, he shouldn't be voting on it. So I'd have to let the applicant decide whether he wants to keep going tonight, or whether he'd want to continue it because one member's missing. And he's allowed
If I
to.
could just say one thing before the applicant says anything. What we have in front of us tonight is going to be a contract that we're going to have to vote on for the noise and sound and anything else that goes with this. I would hate to see this get tabled for 2 weeks. because,
I didn't know if there was going to be any testimony tonight anyway, or we were just going to...
well, I think we need to agree on this, and then we have to give the applicant a copy of that, because it's going to be up to them to give Bob the okay to go ahead and hire this company so we can get our test results.
I think the applicant might have to agree to pay for that as well.
Right, but
So we'd have to,
that's up to Bob, and the applicant can do that anytime. He can do that tomorrow.
what I'd like to do is open it up, to the applicant, knowing that we're missing one board member, and see what his feelings are.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Ed Brennan. I'm an attorney with an office at 1 Church Green in Taunton, representing the applicant. I do agree with the chairman. I want to make it clear that we will present no testimony tonight at all, so therefore, Mr. Driscoll can continue to participate on the hearings without having to go back and listen to the tapes and watch the tapes and do the catch-up. I think he would be entitled to do that once, but because we're at a point where we have the sound and environmental engineer issue, the review engineer for the town, we only received those proposals today. There was two of them, one from CEC and one from Epsilon. We have sent those to our consultant to look at and see if they agree that it's a reasonable scope of services and the price is within the market range. Under the statute that allows you to have us pay for that, we're entitled to do that. Now, we got these today. I got it at 3 o'clock today, 2:30, 3 o'clock today. So our consultant engineer has not weighed in on the two proposals, the one by CEC and the one from Epsilon. So we have no input from our consultant on the scope of services the town's requesting to see whether it's reasonable. And that the cost is reasonable, because that's what the statute says. You can assess a reasonable cost against the applicant. So we need some input of our own on that before we can agree to any consultant. Now, it's unfortunate because we will lose. If we push this to the next meeting, we will lose that time gap. But it's an important point for my client to have some input on the cost by the review engineer. So I just want to make it clear that we're not intending to put any testimony in tonight, and we would ask that this matter of which consultant the board votes on be pushed to the next meeting. Also, we're waiting for Nich's review of our last letter. I believe it was dated July 25th. We haven't got a response from Nitch on that. So, that we can't discuss that either. So there are two important points that are being held up that I would ask no one get into those tonight, so we don't have an issue with Mr. Driscoll having to play catch-up.
There's actually a third proposal that came this afternoon. You must not have it then if you said you just received the two.
No, I have CEC and Epsilon. One was $8,600 and the other was $19,800. It's a big gap.
If that's it, the applicant's right to review these prior to us making a decision on what company we may select, because they may say we're not going to pay for it. That puts us in the spot of having to pay for it ourselves if we get to that point. So if that's the case, because a member's missing, the applicant's well within his rights to say, no evidence taken, I want to wait till I have a full board, and we simply continue it. So that's what he's requesting, and we still have plenty of time to act, and that's well within his rights to request that.
Can I make a statement? Our bylaw, our regs are very clear, and it's the planning board has the authority to hire anybody that we see fit with a approval from the applicant for a reasonable fee. It's up to this board to pick who we want. It's not up to the applicant to review the three proposals and tell us who he wants.
Yeah.
That's not how it goes. It's up to us. There's 4 members here. We're not taking testimony. We've all read we've all read the engineers, all the estimates, they've been in front of us for 2 weeks or a week and a half. We're not taking the guy that came in with $19,800 is not the one that I think Bob asked everybody by email, you know, what are your comments? I put comments, John put comments, you know, I think everybody put their comments, and we all know who we're gonna hire. And it's up to us to give Bob the authority. After it leaves us, it's out of our hands. I don't care if they take 6 months.
It would actually be easier on the applicant if you know, correct me if you don't agree here, but if we selected someone, that's not taking evidence, I don't believe.
We're not.
And we just select from the proposals who we pick, and we narrow it down to one selection, and then you could, as the applicant, review that one.
Yeah, I'm not-
We pick,
I'm
and then
not-
if he disagrees, then he can come back in front of us and tell us that he doesn't, for whatever reason, that he disagrees with the person we pick. This whole thing is all based on getting what we feel comfortable with noise and sound. And I think we've all reviewed these contracts, and we all agree, from as far as I'm concerned, at least I thought, on who we were going to pick. And we're not picking the guy with $19,800, because that's astronomical, that's ridiculous. The one guy is a local guy in Raynham business, and he had the best contract, but the best proposal.
Well, just to expand on that a little, if we ended up voting and picking, do you agree that's taking no evidence? That's just simply selecting a
Correct,
consultant?
right, there's no public input, and
So
I'm not
there's no public
suggesting we
input.
can tell you who to
So,
pick.
if you have, as you say, the right to decide whether or not you think that's a reasonable thing and a reasonable cost, we could pick, but no action would be taken until you get back to us at the next meeting on whether you're fine with that or not.
There's going to be no action until it pays us.
Yeah, good, yeah, that's,
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that we have the right to tell you what to do.
yeah.
I'm suggesting we have the right to review the contracts before you vote,
Okay.
and we got them today. Obviously, you've had them longer than that. There's been correspondence amongst the board members as to which one's better. I'm just asking that we be given an opportunity, some input, for whatever it's worth. You can disregard it if you choose to, but I think we have that right.
So
Just so, what I'm
Of course,
saying is, you don't
The
want
gentleman
us.
who's gonna write the check is
Here's
approaching the
what
podium
I'm
now.
asking. Do you think it's legit for us to vote on who we
I do.
choose right now?
I do. I don't think
Okay,
there's
all
no
we're
public
asking.
action.
So we could vote, then you can look at it.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Chair, could I get a 15-second rundown on the third one? Because this one didn't come to me until this afternoon, and I didn't see it, but it was, I didn't check my
I know how
email
you
at
feel,
5
John.
o'clock.
I know how you
So
feel.
right now, we'll take no evidence, we'll discuss the contracts.
All right, I'm just looking, I mean, we can wait while I read the 5 pages here, or you can give me a 15-second rundown on the third estimate.
If I need 25 seconds, can I have it?
Yeah, you can have 25 seconds.
Is there an extra copy of that around by any chance? Just, I'd be interested just to see what the third one had
I'll
to
send it
say.
to you tomorrow, but we're throwing that one out. So to start over here, I sent this proposal out to 3 different contractors, CEC, Epsilon, and a group called Atlantic Design. Waited a long time to get feedback. We did get 2 back, one from CEC, which is a local company or local office, nationwide company with a local office. Epsilon came back, and just this afternoon, I received one from Atlantic, who I had a meeting with several weeks ago. As you saw, Epsilon's quote was very, very expensive. It was pushing 20 grand, 19 and change. But that didn't include all the things we wanted them to review. It didn't include some of the air quality testing we wanted done, but it did include most of the noise quality testing, or the noise pollution, if you will. CEC seems to be, their quote seems to encompass everything the board wants to see as far as noise and air pollution. And they're a local company, and that's something they can move right on. And when I talked to the people from Atlantic this morning, before I got their quote, which is also a high quote, actually it's a low quote, but they only quoted the noise part. They did not quote the air pollution part. And then after some more discussion, I found out that they actually have a conflict, because they actually did some work with Tech Environmental, who gave us the report from the applicant. So I suggest we throw them out.
Well, it'd be my motion, it wasn't even complete,
So
I
basically,
wouldn't
your
accept
choices
that.
would be Epsilon and CEC, and Epsilon's quote, which is the highest quote, does not encompass everything we want to have reviewed. So basically, it would be my recommendation to the board that you would choose CEC, which is the $8,600, and the local company, and the company that can move on it as quickly, more quickly than anybody else. And it'll be up to the applicant to okay that once he reviews, has a chance to sit down and review it. And if it would make sense, just to expedite this, so we don't have to discuss this again in 2 weeks, if they review it next week and they get back to me, then I can engage CEC and get on their schedule so that it expedites their work and we don't get pushed out longer waiting to get on someone's schedule.
Does anyone want to make a motion to that effect?
Can I just ask one question? On the air evaluation, the CEC quote, they say they're going to do a desktop study only? I thought we didn't want desktop studies. I thought we wanted actual studies.
They're going to go out in the field and do their study.
Well, I mean, unless I read it wrong, it says CEC will complete a quantitative evaluation of air pollution impacts, desktop study only, in parentheses.
Well, that's the only way they can do an air pollution study. They're going to get the information and they're going to study it.
But aren't they going to go out and test the air themselves at a similar facility?
They're going to test the noise. They're not going to go test the air. They're going to make assumptions on what the air quality is going to be based on what the activities are going to be.
Well, as part of my motion to accept them as the company to hire, I would also suggest that, I think it's very important, I said at the last meeting, that that company come in front of us, so we specifically tell him what our concerns are,
Yeah.
what their concerns are, and I don't want to be doing this back and forth. I mean, we need to have them in front of us. We need to pick who we're recommending.
Hold on, Jim.
Once we pick who we recommend, who we want to see, we can give them the paperwork. Still, as soon as they let you know that, okay, that's acceptable, then we contact them and we invite them in at the next planning board meeting. We tell them, because as part of my email, I said, there are a couple items in there that were already done by Niche, so I don't want to waste the money on what they already did. Niche already reviewed some of the pollution things, ground contamination. Niche already went through that. That's what that extra 1,400-gallon tank was for, and we need more of the sound and odors. And I think if they come in front of us and we make all of our, everybody makes ourselves clear. If they misunderstood, and if John can ask them specifically his question, and if any adjustments need to be made to the contract, then they make the adjustments, and then we all agree, and then we move on. But
Sounds like a
We
plan.
haven't signed a contract yet, so just, I think it would be wise to bring them in and make sure that
Yep.
it's apples to apples.
So you can pick the contractor. If they approve it, I can invite them to the next meeting.
Correct.
In the meantime, if they approve it before the next meeting, we can get on their schedule, and then they can get started on their work as soon as.
No, if they approve it before the next meeting, they still have to come in here at the next meeting.
Oh, I understand.
Okay.
We still not signing anything as far as the contract goes till we meet the CEC and make sure we're all on the same page.
And that way we don't lose 2 weeks, the applicant doesn't lose 2 weeks, the homeowners aren't getting dragged back out, and, this is gonna go to Christmas.
So you
And,
want to make a motion that encompasses all that stuff?
I thought I did.
Yeah, I think you did. Okay. All in
Did you
favor?
get that, Maureen?
Aye.
Aye.
One other thing I'd like to add, even though we're not taking evidence, that abutters have representation. Matt Costa from Dave Gay's office, I see sitting in the back, and all these correspondence that are going to go to Ed Brennan should also go to Matt, if you can make copies for Matt. And you probably want to give Bob one of your cards.
Want me to send him the contract
The CEC,
Proposal.
after it's approved or before?
We'll send it now, and then we're gonna come in and meet. I mean, I got a copy here if he wants to grab one, actually, on the way out. No, I'll just leave it right here. Just to, get him in the loop now. I mean, if that's the case, no more evidence is going to be taken. You already have a copy of the CEC report. You'll get back to Bob to see if it's acceptable and
You just need to continue this.
fine-tune it next time. So right now, we'll continue this meeting until the next available meeting, which is September 20th, 2018. Continue it to 6:30. We have a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion, continue to September 20th meeting at 6:30.
All in favor?
What's the time to act?
October
I
31st.
think I kicked it out to, I thought November 1, but October
And
31st.
again,
So we have
just-
plenty of time to revisit that.
For the audience, this isn't, there's going to be no notification of this other than what was said tonight. I mean, 48 hours before the meeting, it'll be posted, but there's no further notification to abutters on the date and time of this continuance.
But just a point of clarification, so if we're okay with CEC, you're still not going to contract with them until you vet them at a meeting on the 20th, is that correct?
We had a chance to
Okay, so
question.
you've essentially voted to invite them in.
In effect, yeah.
Okay.
We basically picked who we wanted, and then
Yeah.
now we need to talk to them. We couldn't have all three of them come in front of us and then pick, it'd be kind of silly. So if we waited 2 weeks, then we would have picked who we wanted, and then you would have had to wait another 2 weeks, because we wanted to talk to them.
Yeah, no, this is the better route and saves time for everyone. And, it encourages them to come in now that they're selected and talk to us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, have a good night.
Okay, invoices, bills, are there any?
No invoices?
Minutes, I saw minutes.
Make a motion to waive the reading and accept the minutes of August 2nd, 2018.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Correspondence, I had correspondence for Lot 3, 4, and 5 Pine Street Extension. I don't know, Bob, you going to have input on this? It says, "This letter is to confirm to the planning board that I understand and agree that no certificate of occupancy will be issued for lots 3, 4, and 5 Pine Street Extension until the roadway has been constructed to a point equal to or exceeding the legal frontage distance for each lot. Roadway construction will be per the design plan entitled Definitive Subdivision Plan, Pine Street Extension, Raynham, prepared for Chilton Pine Street Realty Trust, dated July 12, 2016, with revisions through February 14, 2017, endorsed by the Planning Board March 2nd, recorded in Plan Book 508, pages 73 to 75. Please contact me if you have any questions or require additional information. Briarwood Construction Corp., Ray Ferroni, President."
So I spent a lot of time out there the last week and a half or so with Mr. Buckley, and we actually had an on-site meeting with with Mike Ferrone and his engineers yesterday. So Michael's decided he's going to build out the roadway to what was approved for Mr. Carney back a year and a half ago or so. The roadway's been laid out, the fill's been brought in, and some of the particulars were discussed yesterday with Mr. Buckley as to how he was going to handle it. He has 4 lots there. The first lot is constructed already because he already has frontage on the existing roadway. After that first lot, the roadway ends where that hammerhead is for that lot that was approved for the long-built people. So now they want to get started on the second house, and that house has been released. We have 2 more lots to go that don't have any frontage until the roadway's been constructed, so you've decided to hold on to those 2 lots until the roadway's been done. I would imagine we might see a letter looking for the 3rd lot as the construction of this roadway goes along, but we'll have to see how quick the roadway gets done and at what point it's at when he comes back for the 3rd lot. But we discussed some country-style drainage options, maybe some modifications that have to be done to the plan if they decide to. But Mr. Buckley, after a couple of meetings, is comfortable with them moving forward. They're doing some testing on some of the material they brought in, because it has been filled already. And he's going to monitor it as they go along.
So you're looking for us to say that we agree with releasing 3, 4, and 5, and not just letting you give them a building permit, but no occupancy permits?
I would say just 3 at this point. 4 and 5 you would hold until you see what's going on with the roadway.
And 3s, you're not gonna give an occupancy permit 3 until he has full access,
Until
correct?
the board has some confidence that the roadway is moving in the right direction, enough work has been done. But he knows that he can't get any permits. I already discussed permits for 4 and 5.
Right now, the preparation he's doing is for the entire stretch for 3, 4, and 5, or just for the one?
The whole thing,
The whole thing?
all the way
Okay.
down the end of the cul-de-sac.
Okay, so,
And he's actually started already. So he's
basically,
well underway.
we need a motion just to,
Yeah, make a motion that we
To
let
build.
Bob give out a building permit for Lot 3 on Pine Street,
Second it.
and leaving the final decision for the occupancy permit up to the planning board for our approval.
I'll second it.
Not to accept this letter with the
Right.
4 and 5 until more work gets done.
right. All in
You want to say
favor?
second for the third
Third
time?
time, I second it, third time.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so the Sandy Hill plan signed. Planning coordinator update, have anything?
Yeah, most of the stuff that I was going to discuss tonight, we actually kind of went through. I wanted to talk to you more about Christina's path and the work, the meetings we had there, the Pine Street extension, what we just covered now. Sandy Hill was on my list of things to discuss. We've already discussed that. Ed does have some concerns about the other side of Pine Street, the other 29 lot subdivision, and some of the roadway work that's going on down there. I'm going to spend some time with him next week. I'll bring you up to speed once we get a handle on what's going on down there. Other than that, I'm going to probably have a preliminary department head meeting before submission for site plan approval for 366 North Main Street, which is the proposed education facility around the corner on the site where the 2-family house used to be. That's moving forward. I'll keep you posted as to the progress of that. I haven't got a final set of plans, although I do have a pretty concrete site plan for the building. It's about a 3,800 square foot building. It's not a big building, but it does have a rather large parking facility with the potential of 2 curb cuts. So I'll keep you informed as that goes along. Ed has a draft set of rules for that potential road opening permits for roads under the 5-year moratorium. He's working on that. He wants me to share it with you once he finalizes it. It's pretty extreme. But I'll probably have that for you at the next meeting.
Just a rough info, that Honey Baked Ham, they started working like crazy there and stopped. What's,
I think he ran out of money.
really? Okay.
It's
I see he built those brick,
Yeah, those
like
brick,
little half walls there, I don't know what that was all about.
Yeah, well, I just saw it, I was just wondering what was going on there.
I've been trying to actually go by there and meet him on site, but like I said, they haven't been there.
Yeah, I haven't seen anyone.
So
What is it?
Can I ask you a question? CVS, is it the heat that's kept them from doing anything? They haven't worked there in a week?
CVS, they still haven't finalized the building permit. They have the site permit. They're working out some details with the landlord of the property. I've been giving them some zoning letters and things for them to finalize their deal, so.
I thought maybe they'd stop because, at 90 degrees, I don't know if you want to be running a bathroom out there.
Well, it's been pretty hot. I'm not
Yeah.
sure, a lot of people are still working.
I've been outside every day, it's
Well,
been miserable.
I hear you. That
And my
doesn't make it
My air
right.
conditioning's broken in my truck.
And I did issue 2 demolition
It's good from
permits.
6 to 7 in the morning, that's about
Try
it.
10 below or 90 degrees, you'll take the 90
Both
degrees.
extremes. But the Bradford trailer sales site, they got demo permits today. I'm not sure if they went right after, they left my office.
I think one of the buildings came down
Yeah,
already.
he told me he was gonna get right on it, so. so
Is
this is activity.
Angelo their mentor?
Excuse me?
Angelo their mentor? That's a private joke for Bridgewater.
So that's what's going on.
Okay. Well, I guess-
North Main Street, what used to be Walter Williams Garage, I don't know what's in there now.
Besides me and you, nobody remembers that. Well, Dan would.
I do. I got pictures.
Do you know what I'm talking about? What's going on? I thought that was gonna be a
40B.
40B.
It's not going to be a 40B anymore. It's going to be renovated and it's going to be used as a light commercial building.
Okay, I thought I saw some renovation, which didn't make any sense when I figured they were knocking the building down.
No, it's going to be saved. It's not going to be knocked down. There's no 40B project that's going to happen there.
Oh, okay.
So they've never gone dormant there for like over 2 years and lost their zoning, or?
No, Mr. Brennan brought it to the zoning board and it's been, the use has continued.
Yeah, so there's always people there. I guess the only last thing would be John on the Serpent update.
There's
Well, we
no,
gotta sign plans over there too.
Oh, yeah,
Just
yeah.
don't-
there's no Serpent meeting in August. They don't meet in August.
Okay, well, then I guess make a motion to adjourn the meeting and move to the next room to sign plans.
I'll second that.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
I didn't even have to say all in favor.